was supposed to be a simple weekend adventure, a chance to step away from the chaos of daily life and reconnect with nature. But for 27-year-old Brandon May, an unassuming spring hike in Virginia would become a journey into the unknown, one that ended in tragedy. What went wrong that day? How could a short hike turn into a desperate search for survival? And why did it take so long to find him? This is the story of Brandon May's disappearance, a chilling reminder of just how unforgiving the wilderness can be. Brandon May was 27 years old, young, full of energy, and by all accounts, an adventurous spirit. But he wasn't what you'd call an experienced hiker. In fact, friends and family would later describe him as someone who liked the idea of hiking more than the reality of it. On a cool spring morning, Brandon set off on what should have been a quick weekend trip in the forests of Virginia. He'd packed lightly, bringing the essentials: water, snacks, and a small backpack. But somewhere along the way, that backpack would become part of the tragic story. Brandon began his hike on the Apple Orchard Falls Trailhead, a popular path for weekend adventurers. The weather was perfect: clear skies, a slight breeze, and pleasant temperatures. He wasn't alone on the trail that day. He crossed paths with several hikers who described him as cheerful and eager, though perhaps a bit out of his depth. It was one of those hikers who would later provide a crucial clue to solving the mystery of his disappearance. Sometime in the afternoon, Brandon decided to step off the trail. Maybe it was to find a quiet spot to use the bathroom, or perhaps he wanted to explore a little off the beaten path. He left his backpack near the trail, an innocent decision that would have devastating consequences. When Brandon tried to find his way back, he realized he'd lost his bearings. The trail was gone. The tall trees and dense undergrowth seemed to close in around him, each direction blending into the next. Hours passed. Daylight began to fade, and Brandon May was officially lost. When Brandon didn't return as planned, his family grew concerned. Calls went unanswered. Hours turned into a day, and on April 15th, they contacted local authorities to report him missing. Search teams were quickly mobilized. Volunteers combed the trails. Search and rescue dogs were brought in. Helicopters scanned the area from above. But in the vast expanse of forest, finding one man was like searching for a needle in a haystack. The first breakthrough came when a group of hikers reported seeing Brandon the day before. Based on their description of where they'd encountered him, search teams narrowed down the area. Dogs picked up a faint trail, leading deep into the wilderness. And then, after days of searching, they found it: Brandon's backpack, abandoned near the trail where he'd last been seen. But where was Brandon? The search continued, now more desperate than ever. The forest seemed to hold its secrets tightly. Days turned into weeks. Theories began to swirl. Had he fallen? Was he injured and unable to call for help? Or was it already too late? It wasn't until nearly 3 weeks later that search teams uncovered the grim truth. Deep in the woods, far from the trail, the dogs led rescuers to Brandon's body. The medical examiner would later confirm what searchers feared. Brandon had succumbed to hunger and exposure. His attempt to navigate back to safety had only taken him further into the wilderness. Brandon May's story is a haunting reminder of how quickly nature can turn from beautiful to deadly. One small decision, leaving his backpack behind, set off a chain of events that no one could have predicted. It's a story that leaves us with questions. Could he have survived if he'd stayed near the trail? What might have happened if rescuers had found him just a day or two earlier? In the end, the forest claimed its victim. And for Brandon May, the peaceful escape he sought became the ultimate test of survival. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as chilling as I did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, no matter how short or simple the hike, never leave your backpack behind.